Episode 43 of the Spear Tackle Rugby Podcast. How are you, Timo?
Lekker Brentie, how are you?
I'm very well. I think this episode will be focusing on the URC. Once again, we've missed the hype train of us winning the rugby championship for the first time consecutively. Um, I'll still wear my Springbok shirt because I'm still very proud of the boys. I think we were written off after we lost to Australia. I saw the predictions or before that. The bookies had us on like 14% or something, and the All Blacks on like 70% or something. But anyways, well done to the boys for bringing it home. Um, but I think going forward until the Autumn Nation series, we'll probably be focusing on the URC, which both myself and Timo enjoy very, very much.
Yes.
Let's jump straight into it. The first game, you can take us over that. It is your team who are looking very, very good. Give us your thoughts.
Well, yeah, I think looking at it, I'm happy so far. I was worried a bit with the Ospreys. They had a very, very good start. And I really was at some point thinking, we massacred Leinster. Ospreys should be an easy game. They kind of kept on staying in the game for the first half, and then all of a sudden in the second half, it's just like they completely we took charge and completely ran away with it. I'm not certain about standout players at the moment for me in the Stormers, except for Yuri Matthews, who's just been building on that Curry Cup success.
Yeah.
And he's looking like a solid fly off. So interesting to see how they're going to approach that with Sasha, still coming back and into the fold. Also, so I don't know. It's going to be very interesting how they're going to approach the whole having 27 fly offs in one backline at the Stormers at the moment, because it just feels like everybody there can play fly off at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, very happy about it. We second on the log, obviously. Not happy about that.
First. You're first on the log.
No, the Bulls are ahead of us with 10 points. They've got bonus points and stuff.
Oh,
Um,
why did I think you guys? But anyways, yeah, I think you guys are looking very, very good, and I think oh yes, you guys are second. I think which is funny to me because I actually thought that you guys looked a bit better than them. I think there's a few things that the Bulls have to work on. Not to say that the Stormers don't, and the Bulls will only get better going forward. We'll get to them later. But I think this Stormer team is not the same Stormer team we saw last season. I don't even remember where you guys ended, but don't even think you guys made the playoffs.
no, we, yeah,
Um,
we fell out in the first round of the playoffs. So I think we
but
finished six.
yeah, but this is the Stormers team that won the URC, the first URC, and they're only going to get better. Like you said, it's very sad that Yuri Mathieu will probably fall out. Seeing that I never used to like him, but I actually thought he's also playing very very well. He looked very good against Leinster. He looked very good against the Ospreys. But obviously you've got a Sasha Feinberg or Missoula that's coming back. I don't know. I honestly think if you look at your team or your backline specifically, a full strength backline with your Springboks back, you've got an unstoppable backline. You got Warwick Galant who'll be back. I know he's not your favorite. I think he's an unbelievable fullback. You've got Damien Willems, who I have a feeling Dobbo is going to be playing him a lot more on the inside center. And then you obviously got Sasha Feinberg or Missoula and Kobus Reinach, who is a Springbok combo, will be your fly off and your scrammy. So I think your backline is probably one of the most dangerous backlines in the URC. It's just a matter of finding that cohesion. And then that's not even mentioning Suleiman Hatzenberg. One Suleimani, that guy who's been looking unbelievably good on fullback. I think Sabelo Sonata has been looking very, very strong. So yeah,
Yeah,
you guys are
it's
are
almost like they
absolutely
found.
blessed.
It's almost like they found some confidence there.
Yeah.
Only one we need back now is Colby. So but yeah, look, I'm happy with the Stormers' performance. I do think there's a lot that they can work on, and then interesting. What would be interesting to see, obviously we lost Marnie,
Yeah.
but having Sasha and then having a guy like Yuri Mattia coming off the bench,
Yeah.
it is a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Last year, I didn't feel Yuri Mattia had a very, very good season, especially with the Stormers. But it's
Yeah.
almost like there's been a shift in his way of playing. And at the moment, he's looking like I won't say he's top class or world class or whatever, but he's becoming a more balanced fly off.
100%.
His decision making is good.
Mm.
And it will only get better from there because he's going to be playing alongside one of the South African legends, Cobus Reinach,
Yeah.
who's also going to be there soon, and that will also boost a guy like that's confidence
Yeah.
where you have, and
Yeah.
if he gets playtime, playing in between Cobus Reinach and Damian Willems, should Damian play inside center, I mean, you don't really want much more than that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably two of the best players you can play in between at the moment.
Yeah. Well,
Before we move on, it's just the Edinburgh versus Ulster and Connacht versus Scarlet matches were postponed due to weather.
Yeah.
They didn't want to play in pools, so
Like the Sharks are forced to. But yeah, just to touch before we go on the Stormers, my final thoughts on the Storm match. Look, I think this team is an exceptional team. I touched on the backline. I haven't even touched on the forwards. You sort of start asking yourself why Evan Roos. And I used to get irritated on Twitter and that when you used to look at all the Stormers reports are always questioning why Evan Roos hasn't been pulled up or called up for the Springboks, especially when we had sort of a specialist 8 crisis. But you start even as a neutral. I'm not actually a Stormer, but even as a neutral, you start asking yourself, how come this guy is not, making regular appearances in the Springbok jersey? I mean, he's such a brilliant player. He's so good, and he's sort of his play style suits very much to a Tony Ball type forward. I think the way that Rassie and Tony Brown is trying to play, I feel like he's the perfect guy you're looking for, anyways. Look, I think he'll be put on the wayside when Cameron Hanekom gets his chance, anyways. But in my opinion, I just don't understand it. He's such a brilliant player.
I don't think that Cameron Hanekom fits in with Tony Ball.
I think he does. I honestly do. I think the way he plays is he's also a very mobile 8, and he's obviously very powerful as well. But I think he does. I think if you give him a shot, he'll do very, very well with the Tony Ball. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yes.
And then you still have Ntutuko Mkunu that you bought from us, which I hope you put to better use than we did.
Not really. But you didn't put the bar very high, though, so...
Yeah, no, I won't even argue there. So yeah, then as mentioned, Edinburgh and Ulster was postponed due to the weather. Then the Sharks and the Dragons, who didn't get the message that they were literally going to play in the middle of a hurricane, they drew. I don't think, as a Shark supporter, that I have a lot of opportunities to wear my Shark shirt this URC because they are looking absolutely shit. I won't even lie. So we lost the first game against Glasgow, which you couldn't really blame them. It's very much a first choice, first team Glasgow team. Obviously with a few exceptions, but at home, and we know how strong Glasgow could be. And then Hollywood Big Sharks are probably, the Sharks are probably, they've got like 18 or 19 players that are not available. You could probably make a full match day 23 with the players that are not available. But in saying that, the players that were playing should have put the Dragons away, whether they were playing in Hurricane or not. I mean, you looked at Vincent Tutuka and Emmanuel Tutuka, both them exceptional players. Jalen Hendricks here used to be, a regular Springbok. Pepsi Buthelezi, and then the list goes on. So I feel like we had the players to get the job done. I mean, the Dragons aren't the best team, sorry to say. We probably should have, get the job done. We won't talk about the upcoming game against Leinster. We'll do that the next episode. I do think the Sharks are going to get better. I mean, let's be honest, they've never really had an outstanding season as yet, still to come, especially not with the big names that they do have. But I do think they will get better. I mean, they've got a whole list of players that are coming back. Oxenche, Eben Etzebeth, Andre Esterhuizen, Apelele Fassi. It just doesn't stop, So I think they will get better. I do predict them to get to the playoffs this season. I just don't think they'll get very far in the playoffs, which is very sad for me to say. And then I'm very excited to the new prospects that they've brought in. Look, I actually think Marvin Orie, I never used to be the biggest fan. Maybe for some reason, when I see him, I think of Salman Murad. But I actually thought he's been looking very good in the Sharks jersey. I won't lie. I think him and Eben, and funny enough, I think they went to both went to the same school as well. I think they're going to be a very, very good lock betting. So I'm actually very excited about that. The other one, that Thomas Toy that's still coming. He hasn't come yet. I think he'll only come next season. And then there's rumors of Marnus van der Merwe who might be coming in. I've been always speaking about this. I think that the Sharks have a hooker problem. I mean, we've had Bongi Monambi, who's also hasn't been in the best form in recent days. Well, he's also like 36 or something. And then who else do we have? Faison Bata. We used to have Dylan Richardson. I think he went to Scotland. He was never very good. But the list goes on, and so I always thought that is we're buying. We have so many centers, we have so many wingers, we have so many players in other positions. We have abundance of brilliant players. You look at their locks: Eben Etzebeth, Marvin Orie, Jason Jenkins, even Corneille Raoul, I think is very good. And hooker we're sort of missing out on. So I'm very happy to see that the Sharks are investing in a good hooker. We know Marnus van der Merwe, who's made his Springbok debut this year. So yeah, I think he's going to add a lot to that team. I just still don't think they'll get very far. But anyways.
Yeah. So moving on, Connacht and Scarlets also didn't play in the rain. I don't know why. Apparently the weather was really bad.
It was really bad.
Yeah, the Sharks game was already wet. And then moving on, Benetton Glasgow Warriors. That was the surprise for me of the week.
Yeah, that fucked up my Super Bro.
Yeah, Benetton pulling a 2-point win over Glasgow Warriors. So yeah, all credit to them. Wasn't a match that I would write home about, but well done to Benetton. Then we're moving on to our other South African team that played was the Bulls versus Leinster, and that was I think the Bulls kept Leinster in the game. Tried to make it as difficult for themselves as possible in that game by keeping Leinster in the game, and also Leinster probably picked up, having scored 0 points in the first round against the Stormers, and then heading to Loftus. They obviously wanted to prove a point, But I'm gonna call one name that stood out, and we discussed it a little bit before. Sebastian de Klerk.
Yeah, very good.
I mean, just his line breaks. Speed and everything, it was really. I also much like Kevin Roos. I just don't understand why this guy is not being called up. End of year tour is coming up now. We've got nothing that we need to prove.
No.
Happy championships, we World Cup champions. Won the Mandela Shield. We've won basically all the trophies that we could have won here. So I mean. Let's go and experiment for a bit. Obviously we want to win all the matches. We want to have that, but there's a lot of players. There's a lot of uncovered territory that we can look at. And I mean, he's on form, but no reason to not.
Yeah.
I like de Klerk, who had a fantastic season last year, but who's basically started Wesley off. Obviously putting up his hand. For that.
Yeah.
Bulls obviously also getting a lot of players back now.
Yeah, look, I think I've always said the Bulls are my guilty pleasure team. If I wasn't born when I was, I probably would have been a Bull. I really like the Bulls, but I agree with you 100%. I think they sort of were keeping Leinster in the game. And this is by no means a team, Leinster team, and even though the Bulls are also they have a lot of players that still need to come back due to injury and Springbok duty. I think probably two of the best loose forwards that we can have in Aldergla and Cameron Hanekom that are not available. But even the scrums weren't looking that good against Leinster. So yeah, I do agree with you 100%. I think that there is a lot of things that the Bulls need to work on. There's obviously a lot of good signs, and we mustn't forget Johan Ackerman literally just took over. So there was bound to be some teething problems, and also they have their first 2 wins in the bag. This weekend, I think they are going to be phenomenal. They've got Kanan Moody, Andre Pollard that will be back. Jan Serfontein will be available again. And if you can just imagine, you've got Kanan Moody and Sebastian de Klerk on 2 wings. Both players are very, very good under the high ball. With Andre Pollard, who's probably the best tactical kicker in the world. So I honestly think that the Bulls are going to get better. They will get better. I think Willie Leroux looked very good when he came back on fullback. And him and everyone's always said when you play Andre, you have to play Willie. So I think the Bulls are going to get very, very good. I just think there is still going to be some teething problems with the new coach. It's bound to happen.
But what I can see, and this is much what we saw with Ackerman back in the day when he was Lions,
yeah,
Ackerman on, the first thing that I've picked up, if you look at the younger members in the squad, I'm going to mention Standard, still younger. They've already started.
yeah,
Ackerman has this.
yeah,
Thing,
yeah.
because when you've got players, maybe he is the one that will gain and move back,
Yeah.
perform. As much as I dislike Kanan,
He's a brilliant player.
as a player, he's been part of the squad twice now. That has
Mm.
gone on. Been part of the Happy Champ. And so I just think that we've got better options. I don't know the best option
Yeah.
going to make
Yeah.
when it comes to Kanan. But interesting. We'll go through that team later in the to our build up to the week.
Yeah.
But they're also getting a lot of players back, and coming to the Stormers, we're not getting that many players back. We're looking at Sasha, we're looking at Damien and at Quebis. That's pretty much
No,
coming back.
you've got probably the 3 best players coming back. I mean, you've got Damien Willems and Cobus Reinhardt and Sasha, who's been unbelievable. So you're greedy now. But but anyways, yeah.
I say this, and this is something that I want to point out this difference between the Sharks. That
Yeah.
the Bulls are taking bad situations
100%.
points. It's
Mm.
almost like the Sharks, and I hate using this term, but this is the thing with Plumtree.
100%.
Like, there's no expectation to win. Now, when you don't expect to win, don't play to win.
Yeah.
When you've got a losing mentality, you don't play to win.
Yeah.
Because if you look at last year's thing, I mean, pretty much the latter part of you guys were playing with pretty much a full strength Bok team, with all the players you had.
And not, yeah,
They
100%.
were looking shit. And then when Rassie picked all these guys for international duty, even I was going like, I don't know what he's seeing.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, when they put on the green and gold in the coach,
Yeah.
all of a sudden there's performance. So
The play style,
I don't think it's play style. I just think it's pathetic coaching, ludicrous coaching. You've got a quality side that is poorly coached by has been.
Yeah.
He needs
Yeah.
to
Look.
sit down and
Yeah.
you guys need somebody like a Franco.
Franco Smith, yeah, or someone, yeah.
Franco Smith coming back,
Yeah.
or maybe even No, and I don't want to say this because he's been doing well at the women's rugby, but somebody like a Swys de Bruin,
Swys de Bruin.
somebody like that can come back and fix the problems that is at the Sharks, get the confidence back in the place. You've got so much talent in your side, but it's being underutilized. But then I look at what's happening at the Bulls now. There's this confidence. Your younger players are playing with confidence. They might be behind on points, or they might be under pressure, but there's always that unseen confidence that okay, they're not going to score.
We can do this,
We're not going to let them. We're going to attack the 22, and we're going to score. It's a different mindset, and that's the thing that Ackerman brings to the table.
Yeah.
I mean, he was also the first coach. Well, the Lions had won the super happy thing earlier in the 90s, but he was the first coach under the modern era of rugby that actually took the Lions to a semi-final. So
Look, I completely agree with you with Plumtree. I know we've moved on from that game, but something I forgot to mention. I agree with you 100%, and I've got no hate with Plumtree. I've actually met him, so I've got no problem with Plumtree at all as a person. But he's not the right coach for the Sharks. I agree 100%. You look at the talent that the Sharks have, even without the players that are there at the moment. You've got Vincent Tsuka, Pepsi Buthelezi. Edolf van der Merwe playing on fullback. Why? Look at last weekend we put Jaden Hendricks on fly off. He's barely a good 9 at the moment. Why are they trying to, you know what I'm saying? So I understand he played Sian 8 and that worked for him for a little bit. But I think Plumtree is not. I agree with you. We need an injection of we need a sort of someone that's. I don't want to say this, but a bit more South African, and I don't, and there's no hate in the Kiwis. I mean, they do make some of the best coaches, but I just don't think that he's the guy for us. To be honest with you, I feel like there's a lot to be missing, and my fear is that the Sharks will start doing what they've done last year, is where they start winning games, even though they play absolutely shit, and you start asking yourself, but how the fuck did they win that game? That was like sort of the theme song last season, and it justifies Plumtree being there. But we got to the semi-finals last season, So I don't think so. I thought the Sharks actually was better when Neil Powell took over. In between, who was it, Sean Everett and Plumtree. So I think we've got all this money. I mean, the Sharks have a shitload of money. They're buying all these big players like Marnus, and Thomas is going back, and we have Eben who's costing us millions, which is fun. I love Eben. And Siya Kolisi. Why don't we invest in a proper coach? I don't know. I'm not saying Plumtree is not worth a lot. I'm sure he's costing the Sharks a shitload. But obviously the results are not there. We lost to this worst team in the URC. Okay, well, we drew with the worst team in the URC. And you can blame it on travel, and you can blame it on the rain. We should not have lost that game. The Sharks just didn't look like they were in it. Their attack was flat, and fine, that can be because the weather was not the first time, So yeah, I agree with you 100%. But anyways, getting back to the Bulls, I think the Bulls are going to get very good and much better. They're going to get strengthened. I think, like you said yourself, they did keep Leinster in the game. And they probably should have put them away the same way the Stormers did. I mean, this is, like I said, by no means the best Leinster team that can get put out there. But I think they are going to get much, much better, and they are top of the log, even with their few hurdles.
No, look, it doesn't matter if it can be a 700-point game every weekend for the Bulls, and they can win 700 to 699. At the end of the day, if they win all their matches till the end of the URC, they're still going to be the champions.
Look, I'll be honest with you. The game that I'm most excited for, regardless of where these two teams stand on the log this year, is a full-strength Bulls team versus a full-strength Stormers team. I think that is going to be. It's going to feel like a test match almost, You're going to have a Andre Pollard versus a Sasha Faimunga Mazulu. You're going to have a Willie Leroux probably against the Damien Willems. It's going to be Jan Serfontein, either or Jan Serfontein versus a Damien Willems, depending where you want to play Damien. I think this is going to be... you see it. Then you look at the forwards. Cameron Hanekom, if he's back and fit, I don't know when he's going to be back and fit, versus Evan Roos.
Lyman Heisenberg versus Sebastian de Klerk and stuff. So you got the young guns and stuff. Yeah, look,
it's going to be a good game.
Well, I'm gonna move us on now. Munster to Cardiff, no surprise there, 23-20 win. I actually think Munster should have probably at home,
Put them away.
yeah, put them away a bit more. Maybe go to a 30-20 or something like that. So again, well done to Munster. Also, haven't had like none of the teams for me have actually looked extremely convincing.
Yeah, but Cardiff didn't look too bad last. Was it last weekend? When did they play? When they played the Lions, there's a few good players there. I think they actually looked when they got the attack going. They looked very, very good. So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't have been surprised if they beat Munster. To be honest with you, and I
But
think
yeah,
they just lost their coach,
I still feel
Cardiff.
with the quality that Munster have, you know, that game shouldn't have been that close at home,
No, true.
in my opinion. And then moving on to the last one, which was basically Dipshit 1 versus Dipshit 2, Zebre Palma versus the Lions, right?
Yeah.
I watched some of the game and then I was like, I'm done with this, and I was sitting and watching, going through the highlights and stuff, before we started the episode, and you showed me the clip of Nico
The
Stein.
scrum.
And I'm gonna reiterate the point that you made, and it's something similar that I said at the beginning of.
Mm.
You've got you acquire the services of us.
Mm.
One of the most exciting prospects to come out of any under 20 World Cup. Okay. It was him. It was Hlekani. That's also
Yeah, it was also going to the Lions. Yeah.
to the Lions, and the captain of that side, the Thomas and stuff. This was like you looked at this and you could kind of see in 4 years' time a majority of your Bok setup being formed out of these players. So as the Lions, what I need to understand, yeah, I don't know what is that. What do they call their coach? He's got a nickname.
Cash.
Cash. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So somewhere between Cash and Rudolf Stroili, okay, somebody's pissing in the cornflakes.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that one of these guys have a fucking idea what they're.
No, 100%.
Because so you acquire the services of probably on paper the third best scrum off we've got, so one of the top 3 scrum offs that we've got available in South Africa.
Yeah.
You decide to play
Not fucking play him.
the special needs kid Nico Stein on scrum off, and you want everybody to be excited about it.
Yeah.
I love the Lions. I've always loved the Lions.
He made a hype video of them.
Yeah, I'm in Gauteng. Most of the rugby that I've watched has been at Ellis Park. Okay.
Mm.
And for me to see has been come Staldraad, Rudolf Stroili, and wannabe coach in Johnny Cash, okay, fucking up probably one of the most influential franchises in South African rugby is sickening for me. And at what point is this going to stop? Because that is what I need to understand. They've made such good acquisition. Angelo Davids is looking good.
Very good, yeah.
That fly off that they bought, that they brought back to South Africa.
Edwin Casey from the Sharks.
He's looking good. Okay. Why?
The winger. You're talking about the winger.
No, the fly off. Why when you've invested in all these players and then you still choose Nico Stein? So either I don't know how Cash approaches this. Maybe his support staff is just really shit. Maybe Rudolf Stroili is, I don't know, doing what. But at the moment, I won't say the Lions Rugby Union, okay? But at the moment, Rudolf Stroili and Cash are a disgrace to South African rugby. And I feel that the honorable thing for them to do at the moment is for them to voluntarily step down and stop fucking up rugby. Rudolf Stroili has messed up rugby in South Africa since 2002. You've done enough damage now.
Yeah.
Go do something in a different country. Go to England or Australia or New Zealand or wherever. Stop messing up South African rugby. You were an average rugby player that was lucky to be part of the 1995 Bok. You were a horrendous coach with the atrocities that you did in 2003 and 2002 with the Springboks. And as director of rugby at the Lions, you've taken a something that yes, South Africans used to be proud of, and you basically flushed it down a shithole.
Yeah.
And bringing in cash. No, no. So it's done now. I'm disappointed in the Lions, but I feel that the players are being set up for failure because they are playing under a bunch of lunatics.
Yeah.
And I
Look,
honestly feel that
yeah.
those guys do the honorable thing. Cash, good Australia, everything. Just step
Mm.
down now. You
Yeah.
won't continuously mess up South African rugby.
Look, I won't be as passionate about it as you are, but I totally agree. Look, when the Lions, I was very critical of the Lions during the Currie Cup because they sort of, obviously were playing 90% of the URC players, and I think that the reason for that was obviously trying to get the trophy, which didn't work out for them. Lost to the Griquas, who've never played on the international stage, and then they obviously wanted to give them a head start. So when other teams are still sort of rust, full of rust, because they haven't played for how long, the Lions just came through a Currie Cup season. They flew in cash for a little bit during the Currie Cup as well. And I always and my prediction, and I spoke to someone who obviously supports the Lions a lot, and I told him, look, they're going to start off very well. I think they'll start off very well, but you must understand something. They're going to crash and burn at the end because they've got all these players that just came through a rough Currie Cup season. Then they play probably one of the cup champions or one of the competitions that's unbelievably long. It's almost a year long. And they don't get Springbok race like the Springboks are going to get, So the Lions don't have a lot of Springboks that's been playing on called away for Springbok duty. The Springboks go and rest and whatever. These guys play through the Currie Cup and now they need to go through a URC, so they'll crash and burn. So I predicted that the Lions were going to start off very well, and for some reason they started off horribly, and I think it's just going to get worse for them, to be honest with you. They don't have. Look, the Lions and the Sharks are both in the same boat. I'm not gonna try and sugarcoat it. Being a Shark fan, they're both teams that should be doing a lot better with the talent that they've got. But the difference is, I feel like the Sharks can only get better. With the names that are coming back, whereas the Lions have Morné van der Berg. That's coming back. So I think this Lions team, they need to reevaluate, what's going on with them or what they need to do and how they need to play. Because I don't think the problem is the players. Some of those Lions players are my favorite players, or some of my favorite players. I mean, you got Ruan Venter, he's just a fucking beast, Henko van Wyk, Quain Horn, we all know you love Quain Horn, and the list goes on. It really does. They've got such brilliant players. I just don't think they're getting managed properly, and it's very, very bad with how they are playing. And I mean, the Zebra Palma and the Dragons are probably the two worst teams in the URC, even though Zebra Palma are unbeaten this season so far, even though we're only 3 games in. Because both of them finished 15th and 16th on the log last season. So yeah, I think it's very embarrassing for both the Sharks and the Lions to go down the way they did. I hope the Lions to get better. I hope they get some injection of something somewhere. I just don't know how. Especially if you're sitting with the same coach and the same players. I don't understand. What they can do to fix what's still got to come. I think they're on a sort of a bad losing streak. I don't know what whoever's watching can probably check. But I remember by the end of last season as well, they started so well last season. They were at one stage one of the only unbeaten teams last season, and then it just went downhill. And they started losing to shit teams.
But again, that's what I'm saying. It comes down to a mentality. This is what is the problem at the Lions at the moment. Mentality problem. In the mentality problem, if you this whole problem starts back in early 2000s. I would rather not play rugby at all. Don't play for friends.
Yeah.
A disgrace for South. And I don't know what was the thought process in getting him a part of the in the first place. Go through this cash guy started, and like you said last year, you know, like a house on fire, and and then they crashed and burned, and they couldn't even make it into the top 8.
Yeah.
Now, as South African supporters, okay, when we watch rugby like this, the only time you do not support your side is when they're playing your side.
Yeah.
So we support the Lions every week, Dogs every week, Bulls every weekend. We support because we are South Africans, and we look at the stuff that you know the players that are available, and I agree with you. You're sitting with the talent pool inside the Lions. They just but there's easily in that starting squad, but at least 10, 12 players that will be picked up by a different union day.
Yeah.
If
And look.
do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Kriel is looking fantastic. He's defense is Wayne Horn, Frankie Horn. You've got
Franklin, I forgot to mention. Yeah, yeah,
but it's
100%. What a brilliant.
but ICMP. The only player that would probably not go to anybody else is Stein.
Yeah.
I
Look.
don't think even the Greek was
Yeah.
probably
And yet, when the Sharks buy the Lions players, they get criticized, you know. And there's this stigma which pisses me off so badly. There's this stigma they say if you go to the Sharks, you end your career, you know. I think you even said that to me before, but it's not true, you know. If you think about it, a lot of the Springbok, current Springbok players are Sharks, but I'm not going to defend the Sharks. This is about the Lions. I think if you want to make, I think like, and I'm sure we're going to get a shitload of hate for this. I think the other unions need to start swallowing up this talent, you know, to be honest with you, because they're not doing anything, you know. Adolf van der Merwe just went to the Sharks. He's playing for the second worst South African team at the moment, but at least he'll know how it feels to win a Currie Cup or play a playoffs, because the Lions have never made the playoffs in the URC, ever, you know.
Yeah, look, the thing is this. When we say that, it's because of the coaching. Additionally, your players that come through the Shark structures,
Yeah.
but the players that come in, like Adolf van der Merwe already, you know, second game at the Sharks and they're already playing him out of position.
Yeah.
But that's a Plumtree thing. He doesn't, you know, Plumtree doesn't give a shit about players.
Hmm.
And at the moment, the Lions, I mean, the Lions are going to have to get to a point where they're going to have to make a complete, you know, whitewash there and go. We're going to start from the top. We're going to wipe clean. We're going to get in a new proper director of rugby. And you can't tell me that there is not somebody that can take over
Yeah.
the position as the director of rugby.
Hmm.
Make sure you retain your talent. Make sure you bring in the right players, and make sure you get rid of the dead weight.
Yeah.
And as a coach, I mean, you're looking at it from a coaching perspective. You look at the Lions team, and there's easily, you know, several players in the Lions team that could easily slot into the box setup. But because
100%.
they're not coached right, they look shit. Because they're
Yeah.
playing with a losing mentality, they look shit. They play shit. It's almost like they lost their passion.
Yeah.
And then to add on, top of this, you know, the Sharks came out, their jerseys look good. The Bulls came out, their jerseys look good. The Stormers came out and they went a bit more traditional Western Province style.
That's the best jersey in the URC, by the way.
Yeah,
The Stormers
and I
one.
thought, oh, you know, this is interesting. And then the Lions came out with what the
Graffiti.
it's like they went and said, we're gonna go to a kindergarten, we're gonna get a bunch
Yeah.
of kids to finger paint, and then we're gonna
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
put this on.
Look,
It's
yeah.
disgrace. The whole everything above the players, from the coaches to the board of directors and everything at the Lions, you are a disgrace to South African rugby, and you guys
Yeah.
need to step down. Give the union
Yeah.
to somebody that can run it properly, get the right people in to do the job, get the right coaches and stuff into the job. You are making
Yeah.
us as South Africans, as one of probably the best and biggest rugby nation, you're making us look like a bunch of fools because you're there for the money. Step down, go away, get proper people in to come do the job. And I
Okay,
won't say
let's
anything
end.
else.
Let's end on that. All right.
Renty, I'll see you later in the week for our build up to this weekend's URC. Then we can see who the Lions are going to lose to again, and who the Sharks will probably draw with.
I don't know. We got Ethan Nuker and Pimpy back, and we're playing Leinster. So, yeah, let's see.
All right,
Cool.
everyone,
Cheers,
thanks,
guys.
Cheers.